Podcast mode. Podcast mode. All right. What's good? What's good? What's good? As you can see, solo dolo today. Eddie forgot to let me know he was gonna be busy. So, as I always say, the show must go on. But hey, look, from the numbers I saw, it seems like y'all enjoyed the Youngin episode. So, hey, we're just gonna keep it going. But honestly though, hope everybody doing well. Uh, I'm recording. It's Sunday. So kind of recuperating, getting things together before the work week starts. Enjoying a little bit of football. You know, go Niners. But you know, it's kind of crazy. Before I started recording today, just giving it some thought. Man, it has been, I think, officially 3 years this month now. Uh, oh, Stephon Diggs just scored a touchdown. Nice. Uh, yeah, it's been about 3 years today now since I embarked on this video content creation journey. Mm, it's kind of crazy thinking about it because I will not lie. There are days I absolutely want to quit. Like, I'm not even gonna sit up here in front with y'all. Like, there's really days like I be wanting to quit, but I just always, personally, uh, I give it that second thought. Like, you started doing this, DeVante, because yeah, there's plenty of other things you can do, fall back on. Obviously the whole detailing thing. I can always fall back on that. Oh man, solid catch. Yeah, it's kind of just like I look at that and then tell myself, you know, I would have been very mad at myself if I did not at least try. And I'm speaking on, looking back later on in the future. I would be very mad at myself if I didn't try. So, I look at it from the perspective of that, slash, like, to the people that do see my content and all that, whether it's my content solely or, helping out with others' content, I just, at the end of the day, I just want to be able to say, like, I contributed to, just giving you something enjoyable to watch, slash, like, who knows, maybe I inspire somebody to, do what I'm doing. And, that's really how I look at it. But, it's been crazy, just in the 3 years, doing things like being able to go to Japan, being able to go to Australia, going to SEMA these past few years, just doing stuff out here with, all the sneaker shops in Arizona and, just doing a whole bunch of other stuff and, just many more things I want to do. It's just crazy to think about all of it. But you know, hey, I will say at the end of the day, if I quit tomorrow, I'd be proud of everything I did. So, you know, it is what it is. And, like I always say, I never really intended to do this to make money. Obviously money would be great. I mean, who's going to turn down money for, doing something they enjoy? But, it's like, I just kind of always had the thought, you know, if I am good at what I do, the money will come. So I don't really worry about it. I just want to keep doing what I'm doing and just have fun with it at the end of the day. And, uh, even with this podcast, So, for those that may not know, I actually turned the keys over to Eddie on this. Um, it was more so I had to be realistic with myself. I was stretching myself a little too thin. I think that's how the saying goes. Excuse me. So I spoke with him and told him, like I really wanted him to kind of take the keys to the old head and the youngin. I mean, really, the podcast was more so his idea. It's just obviously he knows I do this type of thing. He's still fairly new to it, which not to him because he does improve every single time we do something like this, and I'm happy to see it. And he's still a little on the cusp. So does he really want to do it? Kind of trying to get him out of his shell a little bit. But nah, he's getting better though. So I really just passed it on to him because I always say this. It's kind of a unique talent I've kind of realized that I have, and I'm almost able to just see like the potential in what people can do. And then, if I see it, I always want to help them kind of better themselves. Wes, the little homie Wes is a good example of that. Like I met him when he was like 15 and he was just barely getting into, you know, car photography. So, I started taking him with me to all these meets and all that. And, like, getting him into SEMA, he's benefited so much from it. So, yeah, it's kind of like trying to do the same thing with Eddie because I tell Eddie all the time, like, bro, like, dude, you were mad funny, like, and it's like I was telling, like, bro, like, if you play your cards right, you can be bigger than me, and I hope you honestly will be one day, because it's like you got it. I tell people all the time, like, I'm not the funniest dude in the world, like. I more so say my talent comes from just being able to do multiple things slash kind of bringing the right people together and being able to create something that just looks good or is impactful hopefully. So definitely I'm looking forward to seeing what we do with this thing, and just overall just always trying to progress it. But it is what it is at the end of the day. Let's get into this trade. Let me just say this. Regarding the basketball special that we recorded, it killed me when I saw this trade because we recorded it so early. But at the same time, speaking with the homie Marcus that was actually on the basketball special, he told me, it's kind of better that we did it that way before the trade because, we could have spent an entire 20-30 minutes just talking about that trade alone. And the most recent trade with Drew Holiday that I'll get into shortly. But it's like it is what it is at the end of the day. But so let me pull it up just to make sure I actually have it. Oh, and as soon as I open my phone, Woj reports free agent guard Cameron Payne has agreed to a 1-year minimum deal with the Bucks. All right, so let me just say this about Cameron Payne. I don't necessarily believe that he is like a top level guard, but he is a guard that can help you coast by. So I will give him that 100%. Now, do I see the Bucks, winning a title? It's a good chance because let's be real here. Adding Damian Lillard gives you a lot more firepower. So it's going to be interesting. But, let me talk about this trade real quick. So, for those that may have not seen or just don't remember. Lillard to Milwaukee in a three-team trade. Uh, the Blazers get Drew Holiday, DeAndre Ayton, Tamani Kamara. I'm sorry if I did not say that wrong. A 2029 unprotected Milwaukee first and unprotected Milwaukee swap rights in 2028 and 2030, and that's to the Blazers. Phoenix, who was also involved in the trade, they get Yusuf Nurkic, Grayson Allen, Nazir Little, and Keon Johnson. So there was already a lot of talk. You know, was this trade fair? You know, like who improved, who got worse. And, it's almost crazy because I've looked at that trade and I'm like, for a three-team trade, this is probably one of the few where every team benefited. Because, obviously Milwaukee, it's a no-brainer why they benefited. You know, Damian Lillard. Do I really got to say much more? So, I expect some big things from that team. Uh, the Blazers, now, they did trade Drew Holiday today, which I'll get into that here shortly. But, uh, they get DeAndre Ayton, who obviously I've been very critical on, but, with all that being said, I do wish him well out there in Portland. It's a fresh start for him. And I really want to see him prove us wrong because we work on him soft and all that. I do want to see him prove us wrong because, dude is talented. He's arguably a top five center in the league if we're going off pure skill. So yeah, I wish him well out there. Um, Tomani Kamara, I've only seen things here and there, so we'll see, we'll see. And then the picks and the swap rights, we'll see what those turn into. They could trade them, they could turn them into something. You just never know sometimes. And then regarding Phoenix, they just got more depth and a center that actually is a like very solid rim protector. So yeah, Phoenix majorly improved. Uh, I don't like Grayson Allen. I'm just gonna be honest. He's a solid player. It's just I think he's a very dirty player, but at the same time, the best way to categorize him is he's an old school '90s type player. He's just very physical. But you know, at the end of the day, hey, that's solid depth that Phoenix got. So yeah, Phoenix is going to be very tough to beat this year. And then regarding the Giroux trade that just happened, Drew Holiday got traded to the Boston Celtics. Apparently, the Celtics traded Robert Williams, Malcolm Brogdon, 2024 Golden State first round pick, 2029 unprotected Boston first round pick, and that's to the Blazers. Uh, if I'm being honest, I do not like this trade. Uh, I more so don't like it on the Celtics end because keep in mind they did kind of get something back, especially with trading what's his name, Marcus Smart, because they lost a heavy amount of defense trading him, but at the same time you gain that back plus some very good offense with Drew Holiday. So it's good, but the main problem I have is they traded their best rim protector in Robert Williams, so that's going to be a problem. Malcolm Brogdon, they were already talking about trading because, excuse me, it was between him and Derek White, from what I saw. Now, obviously, Derek White, he proved why he should stay in this recent run. I mean, yeah, they fell short, but he was balling. And then obviously the first round picks, like they knew they were gonna have to give up those picks because I mean, heck, even the Blazers literally said the minimum they would take was two first round picks and a like starting player. So uh, at the end of the day, the Blazers really won out of all these trades because I mean they secured good depth pieces. They secured picks for the future. So I mean they really won if we're thinking long term. But it's just like you know this season alone is shaping up to be very good, and I'm very excited for what's about to happen. Uh, I'm a very big hoop guy from what y'all can see on the podcast. We really don't talk football very much, so it's just, I'm very excited for this season. Uh, Obviously, I'm very bummed that my Clippers couldn't get in on that Drew Holiday trade because, I really like Drew Holiday. And I would have loved to have had him on the Clippers because a whole bunch of Clippers fans were calling me crazy for saying like we may have to trade you know Bones or Terrence Mann, but it's like I would have much rather have kept Terrence Mann and just went on ahead and traded Bones and obviously Morris Senior, maybe Nicholas Batum and some picks. But it's like at the end of the day, it is what it is. Can't complain. So moving on. Next weekend, I believe Saturday, Sneakercon will be returning to Phoenix. So let me just say this, because I had a very good talk with the homies over at Archive, which is Wilson and his younger brother Will. It's great that SneakerCon comes out here. The problem is, it's almost like to a point like there's no reason to go anymore. Because the resale market, we've all seen it, has just been god awful lately. So, I mean, if you want to go try and get something for a steal, I mean, hey, by all means, but realistically, I could just go to a shop out here and do that, or I could go on, Go or StockX or heck, even eBay. I get it. Some people don't trust Go or StockX. It might be some fakes, I don't know, or 98 percenters, like I like to call them now. But at the end of the day, it's like I just don't see a point to going to SneakerCon anymore because I catch a lot of flag when I say this. As a sneakerhead, I don't feel it's for me anymore. Like realistically, when you go to SneakerCon or when like you see videos, all you see are influencers that literally got into sneakers during the pandemic, influencers that have absolutely nothing to do with sneakers, or it's just like you see just overpriced sneakers being sold, and you see like these sellers, they're literally just trading sneakers with each other, like, so it's like what is the point of me going? That's just my point. So I'm like still on the fence if I'm even gonna go, because I mean at the end of the day it's content for me, and that's how I kind of try to look at it. But it's like, oh, like there's just no point in me going, I feel. So I don't know, if you see me there, hey, I'm there, come say what's up. Probably be filming something, so we'll chop it up. But I don't know, man. Now my suggestion for next year, SneakerCon, look, if you really want to bring some interest back, I don't see why you wouldn't just gather, the people that are actually involved in sneakers in the city that you're in. So, take Arizona, for example. You could easily put together a panel with some of the shop owners out here, some of the social media people out here that are involved in sneakers. Like you got plenty. You got Sneak This with Greg and George. You have Laura, Little Laces, Marky, who's Marky or Poor La Familia. You could get Manor, you could get Wilson from Archive. You could get me if you really wanted to. Of course, I still would feel like there's somebody that deserves that spot more than me. I'm just gonna say that. But like you kind of see where I'm getting at. Like, bro, you could get all those people together and have them tell you, what's so great about Phoenix. How is the culture out here? So, hey, look, I'm just throwing it out there. Hey, you don't even got to give me credit for the idea because I guarantee you people have suggested it in the past. And, even if it gets done at the end of the day, uh, the receipts are here. I said it. So, hey, it is what it is at the end of the day. But, to those that do go, that weekend should be pretty dope regardless because we do have the ASU CU game out here. And even the day before, Ivory House is doing their vintage event that they do every first Friday of the month. Uh, go check that out. Like that is without question one of the best events out here. And like I give them their flowers because I mean every time they do an event, like it just gets better and better. And it's dope to see what they've been doing for these past few years. So and also their business is in the West Valley, so I'm always gonna support a West Valley business. But yeah, kudos to them. I like what they're doing. So I wanted to end this episode off with a top 10. It would be more fun to do this with Eddie, but hey, look, I got to do something entertaining. So I decided top 10 rap verses of all time to me. Again, this is to me. So you got your own, you got your own. That's your business. This is mine. So, uh, honorable mention. I did want to throw in Benny the Butcher's verse from Upside Down because I did put Royce's verse in my top 10 just because it's a little bit better to me, but overall the song is just great. Um, and it was a tough choice because I kid you not, I struggled a lot trying to make this verse or trying to make this list. My bad. Because like obviously there's so many great verses out there that it's like it gets tough after a while trying to even like put a top 10 together because you gave me a top 20. Yeah, I could probably make that one pretty quickly because that's a little easier versus a top 10. Like, yeah. I'm trying to think, is there another? Oh yeah, another honorable mention. Probably JID's verse in Sirens by Denzel Curry. You know, great verse, great verse. So moving on to the top 10. Number 10 is Denzel Curry's first verse in If Tomorrow's Not Here. Uh, a lot of people think I'm a Denzel Curry stan. Actually, I really did not like the dude when I first heard him. Like, I thought he was kind of annoying for a minute, which is kind of funny because, like, I just thought he was one of those, like, kind of comedic, speed rappers. Obviously, when Ultimate get, I am the one, the warrior son, don't need a gun to get respect. I'm on the street. Yeah, like I absolutely hated that song when it first came out. So it's audibly funny now, like me liking him so much. But when I heard this song, "And Tomorrow's Not Here," like man, like really just it's just his flow and just what he's talking about in the verse, like that just makes it so good. And I will always say, Imperial. If you have not heard the album, for a debut album, like easily like 8 out of 10. Uh, number 9, Royce the 5 9's verse in Upside Down. This verse, it's one of my favorite verses, because he says, let me pull it up because it's like, man, I always forget it. Oh, here it is. Remember, the effort has to go into the art, not the wave. Everybody talking about they own their masters, but if the music don't age well, it don't matter. It's like you own 100% of nothing. Know your value. You know, I think of that verse every time, when I'm making a video, because it's like, obviously, you got to put tons of effort into any type of art. And, you want to make it so good to the point to where, you know, 5, 10 years from now, people still look back at it and it's like, man, that was just that, video, that art piece that you made was just phenomenal. Like it really spoke to me. So, you know, that verse right there, yeah, I use it every time I'm creating something. Number 8, Wale's verse in French Toast by West Side Gun. I mean, realistically, I just like this verse because obviously Wale, I'm a very big fan of. You know, other than just him being such a good rapper and songwriter, it's just the fact of like him being a sneakerhead as well, him being the OG, well, one of the OG rap sneakerheads for my generation. And he even talks about it. My my SBs is old, your SBs is trash. My ray guns from Dan. It was just cool to kind of hear him incorporate that, in that verse. And then just, bro, the verse just flows so well. Like, I always say, Wale is one of the few rappers I feel he literally writes his verses to match the beat perfectly. And it just shows how good he is as a poet. So, yeah, easily can go in my top 10 verses of all time. Number 7, Black Thought's verse in When We Move. Overall, the song is just great. It was kind of tough for me to choose which verse I like more, him or Common. Black Thought's verse, I just, it edges Common's out just a little bit, and that's not even a knock to Common because you know me well enough. I'm a big Common fan, so yeah, it just it edges it out just a little bit more for me. Number 6, Kendrick Lamar's verse in Beyonce's Freedom. I really liked this verse over a lot of Kendrick verses because like just the tempo of the song, like when you hear his verse start, like it doesn't necessarily like match the tempo. It almost like gives like off a change to the tempo, and then it's a gradual build up back to the tempo. And just overall, Kendrick just spitting. Like, I say more. Number 5, Inspected Dex verse in Stars Above the Clouds. I mean, literally straight out the gate. I leave scientists mentally scarred, triple extra laws, wildlife rock stars who smash guitars. like, dude just comes in and just starts firing verses, like firing bars. And Inspector Deck is actually my favorite Wu Tang member, just because I'm a big lyricism head. So, overall, it's just such an enjoyable verse. Who else? I saw a car pull up. But yeah, the verse is just great, man. Overall, the song is great. Easily one of my favorite Gangstar songs. Number four, Big Crit. Uh, his One Train verse. So I still get into debates about who had the hardest verse on this song, and ah, man, a close second is arguably Action Bronson's verse to me. Um, but Big Crit takes the cake. I mean, dude was literally spitting bars like rent was due, and it just showed like, hey, Big Crit ain't like every other Southern rapper. Like, dude got the nitty gritty bars. Obviously mixed with him being from the South, and it just shows why I've said, if we're talking about the new school, like he at one point was easily the king of the South. So hey, easily my favorite verse in One Train. Number three, Jizza's shadowboxing. I mean, it it's tough to say which verse is the best verse on Liquid Swords to me, because I was talking with the homie Trav in my size 10 group, and I think he said he preferred RZA's verse on, I forget which song, but it's like, it's kind of a pick your poison, because obviously Liquid Swords is heavily regarded as one of the best solo Wu Tang albums from any member. So it's already a tough like one to argue. So if Jizz's verse in Shadowboxing isn't your favorite, I can completely understand, and I won't knock it, because again, it's different for everybody. uh, Number two, Inspector Dex verse in Triumph. I mean, if you know Wu Tang, heard the stories, do I really need to explain this one? I mean, I bomb atomically, Socrates' philosophies and hypotheses can't define why I be dropping these mockeries, lyrically perform armed robbery, flee with the lottery, possibly they spotted me. I mean, the fact that he literally made everybody go rewrite their verse just says it all right there. So that one does not need an explanation. It could even be the number one, but my number one is Jay Z's verse from Drug Dealers Anonymous. So here's the funny thing. I'm not a big Pusha T guy. Like, Pusha T is a great rapper. I'm not gonna knock him personally. I liked his brother a little bit better when they were still clips. But it's like the funniest thing I've ever heard about Pusha T. Like, why does he rap like he's telling scary campfire stories? So it's like, when I turned on the song, I honestly skip his verse because I just don't care for it. Like, it's good. I'm not saying that it's not good, but it's like, it just doesn't, like, I don't care to hear it. So it's one of those funny things that it's like, I mean, it's all right. Oh man, but reason why this is my number one. I mean, just from start to finish, like Jay just going like straight out the gate. You know, I've been bracking from the '80s. Google me, baby, you're crazy. '89 to London pulling Benza. Type it in, Google's your friend, bruh. 14 years drug dealing and still counting. Who deserves the Medal of Freedom is my accountant. Like, I think really the one bar that I really enjoy. Herein lies the peace of God. I always knew I was a prophet because I couldn't find a decent job. Life may be ambidextrous, counting with my right whip and white with my left wrist. Daniel, FBI keep bringing them all white vans through. Like, bro, the double entendre, like, come on. Need I say more? Hey, look, but again, that's just my list. Hey, I'm curious to hear any of y'all's list. I ain't gonna knock anybody's list unless you start saying some outrageous stuff. But other than that, you know, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Again, the Youngin episodes, I'll try to make them a little shorter because I can only get on and talk for so long. This is an absolute skill that, to the ones that perfect it, hey, kudos to you. But me, it's gonna take me some years to try and perfect this, doing a solo pod. So yeah, these gonna be shorter. And, for those that haven't realized, we did go on ahead and make the decision to start dropping episodes every Monday. So keep in mind, we typically try to record Thursday or Friday just to have them out on Monday. That way you get the entire week to listen to us, versus, we drop them on, typically Thursday night, Friday morning. Yeah. So just kind of trying to help y'all out, give y'all something to listen to or watch throughout the week. So apologies if we're a little late on certain topics. That's just how it is sometimes. But till next time, y'all take it easy.